Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask a Paranormal Investigator. Now, I was asked a week or so ago about if there was a video on YouTube that, when I saw it, really freaked me out, and uh, and it kind of did so until it was sort of revealed on how it was done. Absolutely, yes, there is one, and I do want to show that. But one of the ways that has always helped me sort of process these kind of things is to talk to people that have the kind of mindset that can see from a different perspective. And those people are magicians. So I got in contact with a good friend of mine, Brian Brushwood, and he's a very popular magician. He has won multiple awards. He's been on all kinds of TV shows and had his own TV show for a while. He's quite the YouTube creator, and I will put some links in the description to Brian Brushwood. But I went ahead and I got a hold of Brian, and let's take a look at that now.
Oh, shoot. Hold on. Am I here?
You are here.
Hey, there we go. How you doing, Baxter?
I am doing well. I'm doing well.
All right, here, let me get rid of all this Chiron.
But so I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try to share my screen and see if you can see. The text at the beginning of this bothers me because I don't like it when they tell me what I'm about to see. And then the next phrase on here will be, guess what? This is real.
I was about to say, I thought this was a criticism of like an MCU movie or something. But yes, I agree. In general, you should show, not tell.
Okay, so let me hit play here.
Pop using the poltergeist music.
Nothing so far. Building tension. And the door opens, terrifying, and there's nothing but shelves of food and stuff.
Did the drawing on there? Oh, I see. From far away, the drawing on the door looks like it doesn't show up.
Right. But did you see what was behind the door there? I mean,
hit me with that again.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
Because the I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a few, ghost hunting YouTube channels, and every so often somebody makes an editing mistake where they leave in the take where they back up and do it again. Like, no, you timed it wrong. It needs to happen just as I'm looking over on this side.
So watch the frosted glass.
Uh-huh.
You can see something behind the frosted glass.
Oh, that's great. That's actually not bad.
Yeah. And I don't believe it's digital at all. I think it's all actual.
No, as a matter of fact, so there's a couple of things. One, this reminds me of, we did a segment with my friends over at Film Riot, which is a whole channel dedicated to digital effects.
I love Film Riot, and I love your episodes when you're with them. The episodes when
right.
You're with
Well,
them
and one of the things we did was we tried to just sort of mix and mash. Like, we did 10 effects, 5 of which were digital, 5 of which were magic related, and right. Some of them we would do stuff that was just out of frame or whatever. But one of my favorites was a moment where Ryan Connolly walks out from his front door, and you see everything through the camera, much like this first person perspective. And I take his brother and cover him in a sheet. And then immediately it transforms into, I think she was 6 years old at the time, his sister. And all of it was just like you would imagine, using clever framing and all this. And so the fact that everything pushes in real tight here, this feels very choreographed. It's actually better done than most things like this that I see.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I agree with you that it's all choreographed. Now, I do want to say that James Randi has worked with Captain Disillusion, you know who he is.
Yeah, of course.
And they've done a wonderful little thing. One thing I don't like about it is when skeptics have this habit of going, this is exactly what it is, but they weren't there, so do they know? And one of the lessons I learned from Banachek is that he's got 7 different ways he can bend a fork. So you may think you know, but he can do it a different way and still fool you.
This is a poor sample size, so it's far from scientific, but I am astonished how often the moment somebody finds out I'm a magician, they say, how did blank on TV, the internet, whatever, do blank, amazing effect.
Right.
And then I always pose the exact same scenario. I said, imagine if I told you that in 30 minutes, cameras were going to show up and this was going to be broadcast on national television and the whole world was going to watch. How would you do it? And then knowing all of a sudden they have the constraints of they don't have an unlimited imaginary budget. They don't get to invent magical technologies that they could imagine might be out there, whatever. All of a sudden they put themselves in the situation of how would I make the Statue of Liberty disappear in 30 minutes, full stop. And then they'll blurt out how they would do it. And almost always they're 100% right.
Right.
But it's always followed by this magic phrase where they go, that would be stupid. And I don't know why everybody insists on walking past it. It's like, well, how would you do it? And then they exactly nail it. And then the next words out of their mouth, yeah, but that'd be stupid.
Right.
And yes, it takes the brass balls of a magician to do the dumb thing and to do it with such bravado. And so in that regard, whether or not I'm right or wrong in this choreographed thing, it feels to me like that's how I would do it. And to be honest, if I were to do it, it would be indistinguishable from roughly what we're seeing right here.
Exactly. And that is the correct answer. I mean, to me, that's when you answer it that way, when you say, oh, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it was done this way, that's when you end up getting bit in the ass.
Well, and anytime you play defense, you get into trouble because the moment you say it's obviously blank, all they have to do is say, nope, it was this other thing, or here's a thing that disproves that one thing. Man, is there ever power in who knows how they did it? Exactly. I do know here's how I would do it. And until I see something better than that,
No, that's a beautiful approach. It's a beautiful approach. Let's continue here and see what other thoughts you get. Because I don't think there's even any cuts in it. I think it is one take, except for this.
Hi.
Now, this guy is supposedly a skeptic who contacted the gentleman and wanted to come and check out this pantry door for himself. I don't believe that. Personally, I don't think that he's anyone but probably a friend. And he starts off with by saying day 10. Well, I don't think he was there for 10 days, but anyway, this part's interesting as well.
John, it's day 10, 12:03 a.m. Still nothing happening.
So now we're all convinced he's authentic because nothing's happening. Now, I will say real quickly, it seems to me that the door is not completely closed.
Sure.
It just seems like it's not. It doesn't look like it's latched, but.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Go, 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 go. Go up, go, go. Go up. What the hell is that? Do you feel anything?
So part of this, and this is something that it's easy to ding this on, is it's heavily pixelated. They'd say on Reddit that it looks like it's recorded on a potato. That to me is actually part of what makes it so magical, you know, like those fuzzy photos of Sasquatch or what have you. You know, the mind is so good at filling in gaps. So while other people may roll their eyes at this moment, I find this enchanting because I don't know if you are familiar with it, but there was a joke video I put out years ago that was recorded at 320 by 240 or something on a little digital elf Canon camera, and it looks roughly of this resolution. In a live performance, I might obstruct the view of the audience for just a bit so that neither me nor the audience knows where the knife is. And then I make my psychic selection, and if all goes well... Oh! Ta-da! And all I did was tape half of a knife to the back of my hand, obscured it, and it made it look like I slammed my hand onto a knife.
I remember that, yes.
Millions and millions of views later. As a matter of fact, I don't know how many bootlegs and copies have gone out and around, but I know that just the video where I explain this has gotten millions of views. Right. So it suggests to me that there is some kind of magic in this low resolution moment, because it does look creepy, and I do want to fill in the gaps with all kinds of creepy stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
The hell is that? Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. The hell is that? Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Go.
Wow. Oh, that's cute.
Go.
That's probably not the response they wanted to hear. Oh, that's cute. but this is we're now after the cut, and it says 30 minutes later.
Look out. Oh my god. What the?
So, and again, the low resolution makes her look like she's vanishing in such a beautiful way that it's incredible. But
this is one of those moments where I think there's more. I'm going to use the word more money. I don't mean actual money, but it's like there's more currency. How about that? There's more currency in appreciating what is it about the simplicity of this kind of visual and ghost story that just resonates, because every so often, you know, much like that fake viral video of me, you know, slamming my hand on a knife, there was something that just everybody had to forward it, and it was it lives to this day. I don't know what the answer is that makes this such a perfect myth.
Right. So do you have an idea on how it was, how you think it was done? How would you do it?
Again, I'm always careful about this. All I could say is how I would do it.
Exactly.
How I would do it is I would take advantage of the limited frame of view that we have. And if you back it up, I suspect we could imagine somebody, you know, a little sister leaning in, putting her face up against the glass, and then at the moment of reaching in, dropping to the ground and just wiggling off below the camera. That's the way I would do it.
That's certainly a possibility. Let me see if I can, because of where. Now, the thing is there she is. And then when she vanishes, the door comes open.
Oh my god, dude.
And they zoom in.
What the hell is that? Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Now, I don't know.
That is a very clean transition. There's also a stop in motion that is usually an indicator that you're doing a wipe, like something's locked off. For example, if he's holding the bulk of the video is presented as if it's handheld, but if you handhold something with a tripod, you can hit these brief moments of being locked off.
Yes.
and then sweep out a good 30 seconds in between the two.
Absolutely. But here's something even more simple. I'll let this play for a second.
Oh my god. What the?
See my thoughts on it.
That's crazy. Dude. I told you.
Because here's another thing. We don't know where this is positioned in the house. We don't know what's on the other side. We don't know if there's a stairway. We don't know anything about it. We don't know how old the house is.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out.
Well, this is a great solution. We've over the years done all kinds of crazy things
No
to get
way!
pivoting bookcases, and then I ran into this, and this is the simplest solution for that problem.
So,
Oh, is that wonderful? Oh, that's great. So this is a case. So here's a moral and ethical dilemma for magicians. And I don't know if he's talking a lot about it lately, but I remember Penn Jillette saying that in regards to the empty vault, he said, if the solution for a magic trick is better in reality than what you would imagine it to be, then there's an artistic obligation to reveal that elegant, even better version. So this is a case where everything we talked about was all empty vault, simplest way.
Right.
But this is genuinely an amazing, fascinating, clever. I mean, it's the way Hollywood writers would write this being done.
yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's this little snippet here talks about how it is normal for a lot of houses to have these things, especially if it's underneath a stairway or anything like that. That this used to be a very normal thing, and not knowing anything about this house, what a perfect little trick they can do. Because when she pops back behind that and closes it, air pressure pushes that door open, and you've got your illusion.
The only suggestion I would have is that it's pretty clear from the acting job that both the person behind the camera and the person on screen, not the most convincing actors. The best actors are people who don't know that they're acting. And that's part of why, that's one of the difficulties when you're shooting a magic special, is that there's no way to fake that genuine wonder and amazement. If you really wanted to pull this off, you would move into the house and keep this hidey hole a secret from your own wife for a year or 2 years, and then create this moment where indisputably you are causing a reality shattering moment for them.
Exactly.
Which people have, and they very proudly tell these tales. So that's not the most outrageous thing either.
Right.
That's great though. What a satisfying reveal at the end of this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not my review. I mean, I believe it was done this way, and it's also what James Randi thought was done. I just kind of wanted to make sure, because James Randi made it seem a little bit more like, oh, they built this in, and this guy did all this on purpose to make it into a magic trick, was kind of where it seems to steer when he's describing it. And I think it was there. I think it was already there in the house. It was a part of the design, and just getting to finding this footage of this guy talking about the closet and how it solves so many problems. It was like,
Here's one of the things I encourage people to remember is, let's say, you've got the Brian version, which is what could I do in 20 or 30 minutes? Mm-hmm. We came up with a couple of different ideas. Maybe exactly. Something that takes a couple of hours of post editing. Talk to my friend Ryan Connolly over at Film Riot, right? In this case, yeah, that's a long way to go. The James Randi version, where you build an entire structure to a house. However much farther that is, it's not as far as also deciding that all of science as we understand it is not correct. Like it's Absolutely. Still a shorter trip to decide that somebody would go to this length in order to create a viral video.
Exactly. And I absolutely agree with that. I mean, if anything, here's what the James Randi version did for me, because when I first saw this, I was like, that's creepy, and like for a microsecond, I thought, is it possible that we finally see, evidence of ghosts? Now, it went out of my mind before, in less time than it took me to even say that. But how you have those moments, it's like, oh crap, that's, astounding. But, because it wasn't being presented as a part of a magic show. So you're a little bit like, oh, wow, what was that? And it was back before I even got into skepticism when I first saw it. So it kind of
Well,
hung with
and I
me
think
for a
it's worth
while.
noting and I think it's worth noting that the type of people that are attracted to skepticism, you know, we're all junkies chasing that high. Most magicians get into magic because they get fooled very badly, and it's so magical, it's so wonderful that they just want to dive back into it so that they could be that guy to create that experience for someone else.
Exactly. So when I saw, you know, because first Captain Disillusion tried to debunk it using video effects, and it just wasn't working for him, because he came to the conclusion that it was probably not done, you know, with video effects, and so it really disturbed him that he couldn't figure out how it was done. So James Randi popped into the picture and described, you know, how he would do it, and of course he said it a little bit more of this is how it's done. It made me think, now, don't be so definitive in your answer, for one, but you have opened up a whole door to me now that this is not a ghost, but there are ways to make this magical now. And it opened up such a beautiful door for me to realize that even the most freaky video has some beautiful magic behind it.
Let me give you one parting shot here. Recently I read a book that I just absolutely love, and I forget the co-author, but Peter Boghossian is one of the authors on it, How to Have Impossible Conversations. And he talks about the importance of creating what he calls a golden bridge, because essentially everybody who has an unpopular take or an out of the box idea or whatever, all anybody wants is to feel safe and to feel listened to. And so when somebody, let's say in a different context, this exact same video was shown to me by somebody who fully believed it, most of my efforts would be put into telling to talking about how and again, being honest here, truly extraordinary and simple that moment is, and but also the idea, I don't know, just reinforcing the idea that that the shorter trip is always one that doesn't involve breaking the laws of physics.
So let me know what you would like me to plug for you, or what you want to plug right now. And
sure. Biggest thing is, you know, for what, going on 12 years now, I've been teaching magic on the internet on a channel, youtube.com/scam school. That got a little bit complicated when the whole conceit of the show was about going to the bar and doing magic and gathering crowds. And all of a sudden, you know, 2020 happened. Turns out people really like watching me teach my 12-year-old daughter magic tricks. So make sure to check those out. And then, of course, the spiritual successor to our National Geographic series, Hacking the System, is The Modern Rogue, and that's at themodernrogue.com.
So once again, I have to say that perspective is everything. As long as you don't go into things believing the most outrageous solution that's presented, you might find something a bit more simple and maybe even a bit magical and enchanting. You never know. But again, please smash the like button, subscribe, and tell your friends. Ask me a question. I'll see if I can answer it for you. And next week we're going to have an interesting one where I am going to talk about epiphania a little deeper. We're gonna look at some electronic voice phenomenon and how it can fool your brain. So we'll see you next time on Ask a Paranormal Investigator.